Welcome to the Weekly Spark from Ignite Youth Group out of Eastgate Baptist Church, where we try to keep Christianity on fire in a world that tries to snuff it out.
Good afternoon there, gentlemen. Welcome to this week's Weekly Spark. Let's get right into it. Today we are looking at a verse in Proverbs chapter 22, which is also in Proverbs 27. Now, anything that God says, we need to focus on. But when he repeats himself, we really need to make sure we are paying attention to what he is saying. And Proverbs 22:3 and Proverbs 27:12 both say, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." This proverb is about looking ahead. Let's say you go down to the Cincinnati Zoo. My wife and I, we like taking our son there, and we like to go in the kangaroo exhibit. Now, the kangaroo exhibit is pretty cool because once you're in the exhibit, there's not any barriers between you and the kangaroos. There's not any sort of glass or cage where the kangaroos are in and you're just on the outside. No, you're in the exhibit. They're right there with you. They could be 5 feet apart and, there's no barrier. But because of that, they have certain rules with it. They say you must stay on the path and you definitely can't touch the kangaroos. Why? Because there is danger. And the worker who allows you to go in there says it, and there's also signs that say it. Why? Because there is danger. Kangaroos can kick pretty hard, and male kangaroos start boxing at a young age. So if one was to, go off the path and try to touch a kangaroo, there's going to be some pretty negative, pretty nasty, and pretty horrible consequences that are going to happen. And they're going to get very seriously injured. And it was because they were being foolish. They avoided all the warnings. And it's the same way in our Christian life. We can be pretty foolish because we ignore warning signs. Here in Proverbs, it says, "A wise man, a prudent man, foresees the evil and he hideth himself," meaning someone who is wise looks, when faced with a decision, they don't just go ahead and do it. They stop and they think about, what are the consequences of this decision? And if the consequences are negative, they do not do it. If it's positive, they do it. That's what it says when it says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself." He foresees the danger that's going to happen. And he says, I don't want to go down that road, so I'm not going to pursue it. A simple man is someone who is not wise. They are void of understanding, as Proverbs 7:7 says. They don't understand God's wisdom. They don't understand true wisdom. They are very easily led astray. They do not. So they will ignore the warning signs, and it says, will be punished, and there will be consequences that the wise man's not going to have to face because he foresaw the consequences and said, I'm not going to go down that way. Here are just a couple examples. Hanging out with the wrong crowd, letting people who are going to take you away from Christ. A wise person will say, these people are leading me down the wrong path. I'm going to avoid them. I'm going to put friends in my life that are going to lead me towards the Lord. A foolish person will say, you know what, I like them, so I'll just continue to go down that path. A wise person, when maybe there's that temptation to, you didn't fully study for a test, so you want to cheat on a test, a wise person will say, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to lose my reputation, and I don't want to lose my integrity. I don't want to be seen as a cheater, and I don't want to sin against God, so they're not going to do it. A foolish person says, you know what, I want that good grade that I didn't earn, so I am going to cheat. And there are many other situations, those are just a couple, that a wise person says, there's going to be some danger in going to that. But a foolish person will say, hey, that sounds good, I'm just going to go right into it. Gentlemen, my challenge to you this week is, don't be so impulsive where you just act without thinking. Because when you act without thinking, there's a lot of danger. Be someone who takes a step back and sees and asks, what are the consequences? If there's not any negative consequences, if it doesn't go against God and, it's not going to lead you into sin, then feel free to take that path. But if it is, avoid it. Avoid that path. That's my challenge to you this week, is work on being someone who tries to foresee the consequences. I hope this was a blessing. See you next week.